This is The Direwolf and Man's Early Domestication of Dogs by Victoria Boone. 19th century American humorist and lecturer Josh Billings once said, "A dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than he loves himself." But how did man become so close to its furry companions? It all started in the late Pleistocene period around 240,000 years ago, with a much larger and more fearsome animal, the direwolf. Throughout this video, we will examine the direwolf's interaction with man and its environment until the point of its extinction. We will also look at early domestication of the modern dog. The direwolf, as previously stated, was a late Pleistocene predator that lived between 240 and 11,000 years ago. They typically roamed throughout North and South America. Standing at around 5 feet long and about 150 pounds, they were a fearsome animal. They stood about 25% larger than the modern gray wolf. They had a bite force that could break through flesh and bone and reach deep into the marrow inside their prey. Their only competition for some time was the saber-toothed tiger. They mainly fed on horses and the occasional bison that populated the area. As time progressed, they had to compete with man and other large predators for food, but they survived nonetheless. As larger prey died off towards the end of the Pleistocene period, they too diminished in numbers. Their extinction happened incredibly quickly, taking only between 100 and 1,000 years to completely disappear. As they died off, the similar yet smaller gray wolf began its journey towards domestication. Direwolves were first discovered in the mid-19th century. They were named in 1858 by Joseph Leidy. Over 200,000 direwolf specimens have since been discovered in the La Brea tar pits. Man, during the Pleistocene period, was going through major changes. In the beginning, about 250,000 years ago, the first Neanderthals appeared in Europe. About 50,000 years later, the first modern human would appear in Africa. It would take almost 130,000 years for modern humans to leave Africa. For about 10,000 years, humans and Neanderthals would share territory around the Middle East. Then, 5,000 years later, modern humans would enter Europe and take over the area. Soon, the Neanderthals would completely disappear. During this time, modern humans will develop the skills of a hunter-gatherer society, including the use of fire, clothing, and weapons. Gray wolves appeared around the time of the direwolf's extinction. While they're not a direct descendant, more a distant cousin, they share many of the same features and attributes of the direwolf. Gray wolves developed into smaller, faster, and more agile predators in order to take down smaller prey that survived while the larger prey died off. They developed the pack dynamic and began hunting in such, noticing man doing similar. Evidence suggests that between 15 and 10,000 years ago, wolves and humans formed an unlikely alliance that would change everything. In order to hunt better, man would tame some of the wild wolves and breed them to create the first generation of dogs. Man would use them in order to corner prey, making it easier to kill and to drive off any rivals or predators. Wild wolves would branch off and form their own species, while domesticated dogs would continue to be bred for different traits and looks. Over time, breeding will change the look and attributes commonly associated with them, and turn them into that of anything from Chihuahuas to Great Danes. In conclusion, the direwolf was a fearsome, late Pleistocene carnivore that would pave the way for the gray wolf to emerge upon its extinction. Eventually, A line of early man's tamed wolves would develop into today's dogs. So while most dogs aren't the formidable predator that the direwolf was, they do continue to be our companion throughout our journey through time.